guys. You're so funny. Do you like the aprons? Today we are cooking with Shack.
Thumbs up, baby.
Today we're cooking with Shack again, cooking with Shack and Jenn. Today we are actually going to be making my grandmother's soup recipe. It is from my grandmother. It's just a simple vegetable beef soup, and we've already got some of our ingredients already ready to go, because I think most of y'all know how to brown your beef. So what we're going to start off with, I'm going to let Shack here show you about the celery that we're going to add. That's the first thing that we're going to cook, and I'm going to hand it off.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you like that?
It's cupcakes.
I know in some of the other videos I like to get a little crazy and everything else. But we're going to cook now. Okay. This celery was from Thanksgiving, okay? Well, you're laughing at my apron, I know. It looks pretty.
That's KK's.
Okay. But anyway, so all I'm going to do is just rough cut these. Okay. Now this is going to be a long simmer thing. It's going to probably simmer. And I'm going to probably do 3 or 4 more. Then we're going to cut up some potatoes. And but anyway, look. I use my thumbnail as a guide when I'm cutting this. Okay. And that's all I'm doing. I'm just don't try to, don't end up losing a finger trying to do something because you watch this on TV or anything else like that. I want to thank everybody for their views and their comments and everything else. And you just want to try to get them the same size. And the reason is simply because they're going to cook the same. So, and now you will see people that will take this finger here and the thumb back here, and they will take and they will move it. They'll push with their thumb, so it comes out like this. That's hard for me to do. I'm just not that experienced. Hey, if you've got an apron that you would like for me to wear in my next video, I'll send you an email. You can send it to me. Not a problem. Or a do-rag, you got to wear it first. All right. And I'm kind of the prep guy on this thing because this is Jenn's and her mother's recipe, so I'm just kind of the prep guy with this. So.
Actually, it's my grandmother's recipe.
So, but anyway, is that going to be enough, or do you want some more?
That'll be good.
Okay. Now we're going to take a potato. Now these are peeled. These are peeled and split in quarter. Okay? Peeled, split in quarter, no big deal. So, but what I did do was I took and I kind of rounded them off so that I could at least try to get some even chunks. Okay?
That's the perfectionist there.
Is that going to be okay? Or do you
Yeah, that's perfect.
You sure?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay.
This is going to cook for several hours, so these potatoes will cook through.
And I'm just going to add them in there.
If you are going to make a vegetable beef soup and use fresh potatoes, but you've only got an hour to cook, then you need to actually saute these potatoes because they will not cook all the way through. I made a turkey pot pie right after Thanksgiving and prepped only for an hour beforehand, and I thought, oh, I'll make the potatoes, I cut them a lot smaller than what these are, and thought, oh, they'll cook through. I was wrong. You need to give yourself plenty of time for your potatoes to cook all the way. If you don't have the time, like with this soup that we've got, you need to saute them first. That way it'll get them partway cooked.
It's the same thing with carrots or potatoes, celery, anything. If you're going to do it, it's got to be quick. Just put it in the skillet, saute it.
Now we're just using 3 potatoes in this recipe.
Okay. We'll take this and we'll try to line them up. We'll try to do 4 at one time. You think we do it?
Yes.
I don't know. Want to do it? Close. And think we did pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, Hey, thanks for watching all our videos. We appreciate that. It's a real kiss. We have fun. And hey, you know something.
All right, so he's done with the 3 potatoes. We're gonna pass this off, and he's gonna watch the video here for a second. All right. So one of the things, I think a couple of weeks ago, may have mentioned that we had gotten some tomatoes from a friend of ours. But being that you can't keep tomatoes for too long, fresh tomatoes, without them going bad, you got to do something with them. So I actually just cut them up and froze them. And this is one of our bags, and you can do this when you're doing things like spaghetti or chili or like this vegetable beef soup that we're making. Is I'm going to take these were quartered tomatoes, and this is what they look like from here. Alright, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of pepper in this, and I will probably wind up sneezing in just a minute, and then some kosher salt, because we got to put a little bit of seasoning on this because they were not seasoned to begin with, because I was just freezing them. I'm going to take this, I believe it's called a potato masher, and mash these up to get them ready for our sauce. And of course, since these are tomatoes, they are going to be very watery because they're water based. I'm going to use every bit
Of the liquid
and the tomatoes in this recipe.
Oh, and with the potatoes, once I cut them up, they weren't ready to go into the pot yet. So what I did is I covered them with water, and that'll just keep them from turning brown. Okay.
And get some of the starch out.
And yes, it gets some starch. You
All
know,
right.
when I worked in a restaurant, we've kept peeled potatoes, in a walk-in cooler for 24 hours, covered completely with water, because we didn't need them that day. So just cover them with water, they'll be fine.
Now the other thing you can do if you happen to have one is if you happen to have a small immersion blender, you can also do that.
You mean a boat motor, like them professionals have?
Yeah, a boat motor. Yeah, you can also use that to
You got something that sounds like that,
cut,
don't you?
cut this up. All right. So
She said enough of my funny, but do you like my robe? I mean, do you like my apron, please? If you like my apron, send me one. I think
all right. So
cupcakes look nice.
we are ready to actually put all of this together now.
All
so
right.
if you will follow,
I will.
bring the camera over.
Yes, I will.
And I feel like that sneeze is about to come on. You want to make sure that that's in the right place?
I'm trying to, dear.
Okay.
I'm sorry, our videographer is not here yet. She will be back home about 4 o'clock.
Told you. All right. So this is our ground beef, and I have already poured the grease out and everything. It is ready to go. You can see the steam off it. All right. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and pour in the tomatoes that I just crushed. All right. Now, I am using also a 28 ounce can of crushed tomatoes in puree. There's more of a puree than crushed. And then 2 15-ounce cans of tomato sauce. Okay. And if you watched any of our other videos where we made chili, this is a very similar base. This is the base for the chili, spaghetti. We have other ingredients that goes in it as well. But all right, now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna turn this on low because this is gonna simmer for several hours. Okay. All right. So the next thing I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm gonna pour in a can of peas, and I've poured off a little bit of the juice in here because I don't want the whole thing, but I do want a little bit of the flavor. I've got a can of cut green beans. I've poured out most of the liquid on that one, but I do want a little bit of the flavor there. Now I had some leftover peas that I froze because I keep, you know, just that little bit that's left over at the end of the meal for my grandmother's soup, and I'm going to add that in too, because we don't like to waste stuff like that. And then I have some corn, and again, a couple weeks ago we got some corn on the cob, and instead of wasting it, because you can't keep it for too long, I took it and scraped it off the cob and froze it so as not to waste. All right, now can I have the celery and my potatoes, please?
Yes.
Yes, please.
There's a little bit of water, but it's not really going to matter. It's just a dry process. You may put them in it?
Yes, this is looking good so far.
All right, there you go.
All right. Now, can you pan in just a little bit? No, just pick it up.
Ooh.
And show it. You see that? So it is thick, but this is going to be...
Oh, the potatoes too big or not?
No, these potatoes are good. Because the potatoes will also help to suck in some of the grease that's left over from this ground beef. We drained it, but there's always going to be a little bit. But the potatoes will help pull in some of that grease. Okay. Now, you can add other vegetables to this if you want to. This is just our recipe. Sometimes we have carrots. And you can cut your potatoes up bigger or smaller. This is a good size to have. All right, now I am going to add a bay leaf, a whole bay leaf. And I will tell you, because I learned this a long time ago. Okay, maybe not that long ago. Don't crush up your bay leaf. You just want the bay leaf whole, and it's just going to be in there for pure seasoning. And when you get ready to serve this, take the bay leaf out. I don't remember what the recipe was that I made. I just added a crushed up bay leaf, and you know, it doesn't really cook that well. It doesn't soften up like some of the other herbs. And everybody was wondering, what's that crunchy stuff? And Shaq here said, why'd you leave the bay leaf in there? Oops. So put your whole bay leaf in, and then when you're done with the recipe, when you're ready to serve it, take it out. All right, and I need a little bit of salt and pepper. I'm going to add a little bit more salt and pepper to the whole recipe. Just a couple of shakes of your pepper. And then I'm going to pour some of the kosher salt in my hand. Now, I'm not going to be ready to actually taste this, because with some of my cold vegetables that were in here, it's not quite ready to taste. I need these flavors to marry together.
Yeah, that's one of them big culinary words.
Yes.
Marry.
Yes, I need to marry them
Basically,
together.
you're trying to get the salt is going to release flavor in the molecules of.
Can you put some water in here, because I do need to add just a touch of water in
Okay.
this. You
That's
can
okay.
add
That's
some
what-
water into your soup to give it a little, make it less thick.
You know, and as Jennifer said, this is like a base. I mean, if you want to put jalapeno peppers, if you want to put bell pepper in here, if you want to put the kitchen sink in here, you can do it. But this is
I
just
think that would taste very good, though.
well, porcelain's not a good idea. But if you wanted to, I mean, if you
Stainless steel with a little bit
Yeah.
of salt. Okay.
you know, if you want, but this is a thing. Now, if you look like the tomatoes are a little bit too big, take them out and cut them out. This is not perfect. This is just cooking. This is not a staged. And that was the thing that I did with my omelet the other night. And I'm sorry I was tired. But, you know, don't check my makeup. We don't have the best lighting. We don't have this. We don't have that. We're cooking for you guys because we want you to be a part of our thing. We want you to share your information with us and what you do. And hope you have a good time hanging out with us in the kitchen. And after she gets done with this, we're going to pause this because we're going to make some of those chips that if you watch me and my stepson make some chips. Ooh, baby leg.
All right, you see that? That is on low, and it's going to simmer. It is about 2:15 where we are in good old Alabama. It's going to be nice and chilly tonight. That's why this grandmother soup is going to be so good tonight. This is going to simmer until about 5:30, 6 o'clock till we're ready to eat it. So these potatoes will be great.
But
so.
you have to understand one other thought process here. Okay. This pot of soup will make how many dinners?
It will probably be good for about 3 dinners, maybe even a couple of lunches. My son loves to have this as a lunch,
Snack.
you know, or snack after school. So I mean, it's perfect during this cold season.
And this is kind of what we do. I mean,
We
I
make
guess
stuff to
everybody
love.
lives on a budget. Maybe some of you people out there don't, but we do. What we do is when we make a big pot of this, especially like on Sunday or something like that, then we're going to make a big pot. We're going to take and we're going to separate it out. We're going to turn around. We're going to freeze what we can freeze. And then we're going to, have dinner. It goes great with crackers. It goes great with cornbread. It goes great with
Which is what we're making
biscuits. You can even, if you really like something good to put on it, you can make you some homemade biscuits or go get you some biscuits from the store, some real cheap biscuits. Bake them, cut them in half, put the soup on top of it. Boom, you got a meal, and there you have it. So, anyway.
Right here. Oops. I'm going to lift this up here. Oh, wrong way. Come on, honey. Turn around. Back it up. No, back it up. Back it up.
She's throwing me around. And
He
as
enjoys
always,
it. Thanks for watching. Like,
Somebody
share, comment.
send me an apron that don't look like I've got.
Well, I think KK may want her apron.
What have I
back
got
anyway.
on here anyway? Cupcakes?
It's cupcakes with
Oh.
cherries on top.
Now they're going to
Hey,
be calling me
thanks,
cupcakes.
y'all.
See ya.